Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Podcast. My name is Tom.
And I'm Lisa. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that everyone cares about, sleep.
That's right. Sometimes we fall asleep easily, but other nights we can't sleep or even wake up in the middle of the night because of a nightmare.
In this episode, we'll introduce you to useful English words and phrases about sleep so you can learn the language and also gain interesting knowledge about sleeping.
So, let's get started.
First, let's look at two of the most important words about sleep. These are words native speakers use a lot in everyday life.
The first word is insomnia, which means being unable to sleep. If you want to sleep, but lie in bed for hours without falling asleep, that's insomnia.
For example, I have insomnia, so I usually go to bed at 2 or 3 a.m.
The second word is sleep deprivation, which means not getting enough sleep. This happens not because you cannot sleep, but because you don't sleep enough hours. Maybe because of study, work, or an unhealthy lifestyle.
For example, after 3 nights of sleep deprivation, I couldn't focus at work.
So now you know two very important words, insomnia and sleep deprivation. One describes a sleep disorder, and the other is the result of not sleeping enough.
And you'll hear these two terms again in the dialogue coming up.
Hey, Alex, you look exhausted. What happened? Didn't you sleep well last night?
Not at all. I think I'm dealing with insomnia. I was tossing and turning in bed for hours and just couldn't fall asleep.
That sounds terrible. How long has this been going on?
Almost 2 weeks. At first, I thought it was just stress, but now my sleeping pattern is completely messed up. I go to bed early, but my brain just won't shut down.
I know what you mean. I once had sleep deprivation during exam season. I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night. But at least I could doze off if I gave myself the chance. Insomnia sounds worse.
Exactly. With sleep deprivation, you choose not to sleep. With insomnia, your body refuses to rest, even when you want to.
Have you had any nightmares? Sometimes bad dreams wake people up in the middle of the night.
Yes, when I finally get a little sleep, I wake up from disturbing nightmares. And then I feel even more tired.
Wow, that's really draining. Have you tried taking a short nap during the day to catch up on rest?
I tried, but naps don't help much. I still wake up groggy and tired.
Maybe it's time to talk to a doctor. Getting proper sleep is so important for your health.
You're right. If this keeps happening, I'll definitely get it checked out.
And we're back.
Listening to Alex makes me feel sorry for him. If it were me, just one sleepless night would make me feel like a zombie the whole next day.
A zombie? That's still okay. If I lose sleep for 2 nights in a row, even coffee won't do the trick anymore.
That sounds like a real crisis. I'm sure many of our listeners have felt the same way. In the dialogue, Alex and Jill mentioned some interesting words about sleep. Let's go over them now.
The first word is insomnia. This means being unable to sleep or having trouble staying asleep. It's one of the most common sleep problems, and almost everyone has had at least one restless night. Imagine this. You lie in bed, close your eyes tight, maybe even count sheep. But the clock moves past 1 a.m., then 2 a.m., and you are still awake. The next morning, you go to work or school feeling tired with dark circles under your eyes. That's insomnia. There are 2 different types of insomnia. First, transient insomnia, short-term insomnia. It lasts a few days or a week, often because of stress, a new environment, or jet lag. For example, someone flying from Vietnam to the US may have trouble sleeping for the first few nights. Second, chronic insomnia, long-term insomnia. It lasts for weeks or months. This is more serious, often caused by long-term stress, medical conditions, or unhealthy habits. For example, a person who worries about work every night, stays up late, and cannot sleep well for many weeks. These are simple examples. I have insomnia, so I usually go to bed at 2 or 3 a.m. I had transient insomnia for 2 weeks after moving to a new city. My uncle suffers from chronic insomnia, and he needs medical treatment.
The second word is sleep deprivation. This means not getting enough sleep. The difference from insomnia is this. With insomnia, you want to sleep but cannot. With sleep deprivation, you can sleep, but you don't give yourself enough hours, maybe because of work, study, or bad habits. Imagine this. You have an important presentation tomorrow. You stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. to prepare. You do sleep, but only for 3 hours. The next day, you feel exhausted and cannot focus. That's sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation can be short-term, acute sleep deprivation, or long-term, chronic sleep deprivation. If it continues for weeks, it can harm your health in many ways. One of the most important areas is memory and learning. The brain needs deep sleep to store memories and process new information. Without enough rest, your ability to remember things and to learn new skills becomes much weaker. It also impacts your work performance. When you don't sleep enough, it is difficult to concentrate, your reaction time slows down, and your decision-making becomes less accurate. In fact, some studies show that staying awake for 24 hours straight can affect your ability to drive in the same way that being drunk does. Your physical health is at risk. Long-term sleep deprivation raises the chance of developing heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and obesity. At the same time, it weakens your immune system, which means you are more likely to catch colds and other common illnesses. Finally, lack of sleep has a strong effect on your mood and emotions. People who are sleep deprived often feel irritable and angry. Over time, this can lead to anxiety, stress, or even depression.
In the dialogue, Alex also said that his sleeping habits were disturbed. This brings us to the word sleeping pattern, also called sleep pattern. It means your regular sleeping habits, like what time you usually go to bed, when you wake up, how many hours you sleep, and whether your sleep is deep or light. For example, a person with a regular sleeping pattern might go to bed at 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. every day. On the other hand, someone who changes their schedule often, sometimes sleeping at 11 p.m., other times at 2 or 3 a.m., would have an irregular sleeping pattern. Your sleeping pattern is strongly affected by your circadian rhythm, the natural body clock. If you work night shifts or often burn the midnight oil, that means stay up late working, your circadian rhythm can be disrupted. This makes it harder to sleep well and easier to feel tired. When a sleeping pattern is disturbed for a long time, many people turn to sleeping aids, medicines or remedies that help with sleep. Some common types include a sleeping pill. It's a general medicine to help you sleep. A sedative. It's a kind of medicine that calms you down and helps you fall asleep. Melatonin supplements. They are pills with melatonin, a natural hormone that regulates sleep. Herbal remedies, some natural options such as chamomile tea or valerian root. These are example sentences. My sleeping pattern changes when I travel abroad. Irregular sleeping patterns often lead people to take sleeping pills. I prefer herbal remedies instead of sedatives to improve my sleep.
Another very useful phrase is tossing and turning. This means moving around in bed and not being able to sleep. It's a very natural expression, and native speakers use it a lot. For example, I was tossing and turning all night before my job interview.
And then we have a nightmare, which means a bad dream. You can also say a disturbing nightmare to make it stronger when the dream is very scary. For example, I had a nightmare about failing my exam.
In the dialogue, Jill also suggested that Alex should rest by taking a short sleep. That's the phrase, take a nap. It means a short sleep during the day. Many older people like to say take a power nap, which means a short nap that gives you energy.
Finally, we have doze off. This means to fall asleep without planning, often for a short time. For example, he dozed off while watching TV.
All of these words are very practical. You can use them right away to describe your own sleep. And more importantly, they help you see the difference between insomnia, sleep deprivation, napping, and nightmares. We've already looked at a lot of vocabulary. Now let's move on to the fluency builder. But first, why don't we listen to the dialogue one more time?
Hey, Alex, you look exhausted. What happened? Didn't you sleep well last night?
Not at all. I think I'm dealing with insomnia. I was tossing and turning in bed for hours and just couldn't fall asleep.
That sounds terrible. How long has this been going on?
Almost 2 weeks. At first, I thought it was just stress, but now my sleeping pattern is completely messed up. I go to bed early, but my brain just won't shut down.
I know what you mean. I once had sleep deprivation during exam season. I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night, but at least I could doze off if I gave myself the chance. Insomnia sounds worse.
Exactly. With sleep deprivation, you choose not to sleep. With insomnia, your body refuses to rest, even when you want to.
Have you had any nightmares? Sometimes bad dreams wake people up in the middle of the night.
Yes, when I finally get a little sleep, I wake up from disturbing nightmares. And then I feel even more tired.
Wow, that's really draining. Have you tried taking a short nap during the day to catch up on rest?
I tried, but naps don't help much. I still wake up groggy and tired.
Maybe it's time to talk to a doctor. Getting proper sleep is so important for your health.
You're right. If this keeps happening, I'll definitely get it checked out.
All right, we're back. Now it's time for the fluency builder. We will learn 4 useful phrases.
The first phrase is sleep like a log. This means to sleep very deeply, like nothing can wake you up. For example, after hiking all day, I slept like a log.
The second phrase is catch up on sleep. This means to sleep more after you didn't get enough sleep before. For example, on the weekend, you might say, I need to catch up on sleep this weekend.
The third phrase is burn the midnight oil. This idiom means to stay up late working or studying. It's very common in English. For example, she was burning the midnight oil to finish her project.
And the last phrase is get it checked out. This means to go and see a doctor or professional to make sure everything is okay. It's not only for sleep problems, but also for any health issue. For example, if your tooth keeps hurting, you should get it checked out by a dentist.
So today, we learned 4 very useful phrases. Sleep like a log, catch up on sleep, burn the midnight oil, and get it checked out.
These phrases are not only helpful for talking about sleep, but you can also use them in everyday conversations about work, study, or rest.
That's right. Try using them in your own stories and practice them many times.
Hey, Alex, you look exhausted. What happened? Didn't you sleep well last night?
Not at all. I think I'm dealing with insomnia. I was tossing and turning in bed for hours and just couldn't fall asleep.
That sounds terrible. How long has this been going on?
Almost 2 weeks. At first, I thought it was just stress, but now my sleeping pattern is completely messed up. I go to bed early, but my brain just won't shut down.
I know what you mean. I once had sleep deprivation during exam season. I stayed up until 3 a.m. every night. But at least I could doze off if I gave myself the chance. Insomnia sounds worse.
Exactly. With sleep deprivation, you choose not to sleep. With insomnia, your body refuses to rest, even when you want to.
Have you had any nightmares? Sometimes bad dreams wake people up in the middle of the night.
Yes, when I finally get a little sleep, I wake up from disturbing nightmares. And then I feel even more tired.
Wow, that's really draining. Have you tried taking a short nap during the day to catch up on rest?
I tried, but naps don't help much. I still wake up groggy and tired.
Maybe it's time to talk to a doctor. Getting proper sleep is so important for your health.
You're right. If this keeps happening, I'll definitely get it checked out.
Talking about sleep, I'm actually quite lucky. I can fall asleep in just 5 minutes, no matter where I am, on a plane, on a bus, or even in a hospital waiting room.
Then you really sleep like a log. I'm the opposite. I often burn the midnight oil. I stay up late working, and the next morning I always need to catch up on sleep.
I think many of our listeners have the same habit as you, and this is exactly what disturbs their sleeping pattern.
That's true. I remember once I didn't sleep properly for many days. When I finally got some rest, I had a terrible nightmare. The next morning, I felt even worse.
Oh, that's clearly a sign your body was protesting. For me, I usually drink a cup of herbal tea before bed. It helps me relax and prevents insomnia.
That's a good idea. I think this is the key, finding a habit that does the trick for you. Everyone's body is different.
Exactly. And now we'd love to know, what do you usually do to fall asleep more easily? Do you drink milk, read a book, or listen to music?
Share with us in the comments. Who knows, your habit might help someone else who is struggling with insomnia.
Now it's time to review. Listen to the definition, try to guess the word or phrase, then we'll give you the answer with an example.
A disorder that makes you unable to sleep even when you want to. The answer is insomnia. I have insomnia, so I often lie awake until 3 a.m.
A state of not getting enough sleep, usually because of work, study, or stress.
The answer is sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation makes it hard to focus at work. Your regular sleep habits, like when you go to bed and when you wake up. The answer is sleeping pattern. Traveling across time zones can change your sleeping pattern.
A dream that is very scary or upsetting. The answer is nightmare. He woke up from a terrible nightmare about failing his exam.
A short sleep during the day, usually to get more energy. The answer is nap. I usually take a 20-minute nap after lunch.
To fall asleep without planning, often because you're very tired. The answer is doze off. She dozed off during the meeting.
An idiom that means to sleep very deeply, hard to wake up. The answer is sleep like a log. After the long flight, I slept like a log.
A phrase meaning to sleep more in order to recover from lack of sleep. The answer is catch up on sleep. I need to catch up on sleep this weekend.
An idiom that means staying up late to work or study. The answer is burn the midnight oil. He was burning the midnight oil to finish his report.
A phrase meaning this solution should fix the problem. The answer is do the trick. Drinking warm milk usually does the trick for me.
Great! You've just reviewed the most important words and phrases from today's lesson.
Listen again many times, repeat the example sentences, and try to use them in your own stories.